out of 6. Whereas if we call, I think that puts us in 3rd.
Yeah.
And quite a way ahead of the other short stacks.
Yeah.
And in position to fish with a big stack.
Yeah, exactly. And there's such value in this tournament to any kind of good player having position on an Irish Fin because he's so speedy.
True. So if you win these chips, you can then parlay them into a lot more once you have a workable stack. Okay. I did a spoiler. I see he has ace jack. Sick call. Very sick call. And I mean, this is the key swing pot that really allows you to play, right?
This is where we can build up momentum and start developing a good strategy against an Irish Fin.
Yeah.
So you can see the next hands, I can raise very light on Josh Prager because I know he can only shove very tight, especially because there are 2 other short stacks. And the fact that Don Committed now is on 5 big blinds is very important because of the pay jump from 6th to 5th being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's another $4,000. So
okay.
ICM dictates there that the middle stacks still have to be very tight until Donk Committed busts or doubles up.
So then you get the ace jack and you flop top 2. So I'm guessing that despite the fact you're in against 2 big stacks, you're ready to rumble.
With the ace jack, we limped free, by the way, off the cutoff.
Oh, you did? You cheeky bastard.
There's a few reasons. Whilst I'd been watching the table whilst I was short stack, I developed a strategy if I did get to this kind of stack, and the strategy was that I was going to be limping a lot of my hands because an Irish Fin, he wanted to see flops, but also he'd been 3-betting loads with his junk hands. So if I raise now and an Irish Fin 3-bet, I can't really shove over the top because I have such a good position in the tournament. Whereas I think limping, I can either limp call or just see a flop against a bad player. I think there's a lot of value in that. So but then we just bet flop and they both fold. So but I think that is the strategy that I had kind of like up my sleeve.
Yeah.
Is that against this specific player, I was going to create a limping strategy.
Yeah. So Irish Fin tries to eliminate Donk Committed, but he's unable to fade the river. And we continue with the open limps. Ooh. So is your plan to limp call against an Irish Fin? It's got to be, right? You're not trying to play hypervariance. You are playing hypervariance. It's a good play. Okay, I dig it. I'm surprised, but I'm not really surprised. And it's a very interesting play that, almost no one's going to do because they wouldn't have even thought to start incorporating limping. And then limp shove, it's nice. Do you want to talk a little bit about it, what you think he's isolating with, why you're just ready to go? Because there's still like a little bit of ICM, a little bit.
Like the rest of the table, the whole final table, you've seen that an Irish Fin has just been 3-betting 3x and isolating so wide, just putting pressure on people. And it's been going well for him. Like a lot of people have just been folding to his 3-bet, so he's just completely misread it. Like he'll read it as a normal or average player just limping when they're weak, like most people do. Like when they want to see a flop, so he just 3x's it like he has been. He just 3x it so wide because Charlie's third and can't do much when there are other short stacks. Like it's how he'll see it.
Yeah.
So if you stand to limp shove, you're just going to get folds like 90% of the time.
And another thing, I think after we limp and then shove this, I think that's going to put him off isolating us again a lot more. And also it does put us in a larger chip stack than an Irish Fin as well. Mm-hmm. So that might make him a lot more gun shy, which means that later on we can then impact just like 7 suited, 9-10 suited we want to see a flop with, because it's going to make him less likely to try and go for the same thing. Kind of just like shouting no at a dog. Like, I'm not saying it's a dog, but like just negative conditioning somebody to not do something.
Yeah.
I think that's
you respect my limps.
Yeah. Respect my authority.
That's good. Like you're really respect my authority. You've done a good job with setting up a couple of precedents here, where it's like you don't want to mess with me, buddy. You really don't want to. And the thing is that doesn't just pay off here. If we ever run into this player again, he's going to have that note on us. So what Charlie did was he he set that precedent for like the lifetime of his online play if he ever happens to run into an Irish Finn again. And since Irish Finn is going to win a decent amount of buy-ins here, we will probably see him somewhere on the interwebs. And okay, so you're also mixing up your raise size here, doing a close to 3x raise with King 10. Specific reasoning for that?
Sorry, I'm just trying.
Yeah.
What position are we in?
You're under the gun. You got King 10.
Oh, it's quite well. Yeah, I thought that an Irish Finn would be a lot less likely to 3-bet. So this is all designed just around an Irish Finn. And there's not much anyone else can do really apart from Salalito, because they're all either equal or short stacks. And I just seen that Irish Finn had just been attacking pin raises, and I was pretty confident after Limp shoving on him that he just wasn't gonna mess around with me too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just there wasn't that much merit to just min raising and folding to a 3-bet, and I thought if it does set up a good dynamic where he's just not messing around with me at all.
Yeah.
But in the same way that I'm not going to be 3-betting in an Irish Finn light, because I'm very happy with the fact that he's not going to be messing around with me, and I'm probably just not going to mess around with him and let him go to war with other people until maybe I get a massive hand against him.
Yeah.
I think this is the stage where the tournament just gets ridiculous though, and just nobody busts it. I know it's a bit of a spoiler, but it is just insane how many people don't bust.
So Donk committed wins a flip. Josh, I looked at the board, I'm like, oh, 3 blue cards. Why are the blue cards losing? Full house. So Josh Prager wins a flip. Okay. We'll just click through. Whenever the next person gets eliminated, we'll take the next break and field some more questions from the audience, and then we'll probably do one more part to wrap up this segment. I think it's been a pretty good pace. So we limp in, flop a flush draw, bet and take it. Obviously, we'll sweat all the all-in pots. Another example of kind of just smacking the dog. Fudbuff tries to limp in, and Charlie's like, 3.5x, buddy. No free flops. He's like, okay, I guess I won't be doing that anymore. Because when people limp in the first time blind versus blind, like, I'm doing this to see how the big blind's gonna react, and it's like, okay, I got the message that I needed. I won't be doing that again. Irish Finn tried to catch you, but you were over him. Let's talk about the 2 barrels with the 7-8 of broccoli. Hand number 587. Everyone loves broccoli.
Yeah. It got to the point where an Irish Finn had been getting a bit shorter, and a few of his raises had not gone through. And although he looks like a player that probably isn't quite worth bluffing, he hadn't actually made many crazy calls or anything. He had just been ridiculously aggressive, sometimes pre and sometimes post. And the Queen of Diamonds just makes any of his deuce X, 4x, or 9x just look like trash.
Yeah.
So it's anything that, especially with my sizing, I go quite large. Well, it's half pot, but given the fact that you're meant to bet small on final tables, it's quite large.
Yeah, and it looks really big when you put those numbers there. 2, 3, 6, 9, 4, 6. Heaps of chips. Alright, so we get that one through. Nice 2 barrel. This, guys, is how you bluff, and this is how you get aces. Continuing with the limping. Hopefully Donk made a pair. Oh, well, do you think he ever has trips when he check shoves you, or do you think he usually has? Because he's a good player, this Donk committed. What do you think his range looks like when he just check shoves? Do you think you can discount some hands that would have check called or check raised?
The thing is that everything he has seems so unlikely. Like, the 2 likely hands that I can think of are 9-10 and King 10. But then there are also a ton of hands with Jack X in, and even if he's doing this just like 20% of the time with a Jack, when he has a Jack, that outnumbers the amount of combinations of King 10 and 9 10 that there are completely. So I don't think I can discount anything, because once you discount everything that's likely, you have to go what's less unlikely. And even if he does have 10 most of the time, I'm not sure it's to be a profitable one for King 10.
Yeah.
Because when you're wrong, we're crushed, and we're right, we're in okay shape.
Yeah.
So, as sad as that is, I think we have to fold aces.
He folded aces. I went to like show known hole cards, and his cards didn't turn up, and I'm like, we folded. Okay, so because I'm in shock, and I know everyone else is going to be in shock, can you break down one more time why we folded the aces when we got jammed on?
Sure. So if we think of the amount of combinations of hands that he could do this with, let's include all of 9 10 off and all of King 10 off and 9 10 suited and King 10 suited. How many combinations is it? Or 9 10 and King 10? It's suited or unsuited. Okay, so it's 32 combinations of 9 10 and King 10. Okay. And then let's take all the combinations there are of a Jack. So we got, there are only 2 Jacks left in the deck, but we have Ace Jack, King Jack, Queen Jack, Jack 10 through Jack Deuce. There are going to be, Ben's counting.
Okay. Good thing we got the math pro on board.
I think like 88 combos if you don't count Queen Jack, so I assume he's not going to check shove the boat.
Okay.
Yeah. So with 88 combos of a Jack X and only 32 combos of an open ender,
okay,
he only needs to be doing a Jack, probably even.
And the fact that we have barely an against Jack, but not as much. We're not as much of a favourite with against his straight draws as he is with the Jack against us. So it's like less than 30% of the time if he does it with a Jack. Yeah, we're in bad shape.
Right. And I think it's worth noting that Don Committed is a good enough player to be doing this with the Jack. Whereas if you were playing against a very weak player who may check min raise with the Jack, then when they check shove, you can put them more weighted towards a draw. But he's a good enough player where he could have a Jack. So respect on the hero fold. What's up, Ben?
Yeah, that's assuming he does it with his straight draws 100% of the time as well, which he won't. He's not going to have all 32 combos of straight draws when he does this.
True.
Yeah, a lot of them check call. So because I think, he saw us limp shove earlier as well, so he knows that we can have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think most people would expect us to fold aces here, so I think doing it with a Jack would actually be a decent play.
Yeah, he's I think he's making the play saying, if the guy's got a queen or better, he's calling me, so I might as well just go for the max. What we talked about earlier in the session with inelastic ranges. So I'm on the next hand where you 3-bet Josh Prager with rags.
Which hand did I have?
6-7 off-suited.
Okay. Yeah, I realised that he'd been opening under the gun loads, and now he had a massive stack, so I assumed he'd just carry on. Just remember when he opened King 9 suited, he's going to be opening wider than that when it's 6 max, I think, with a massive stack. So yeah, I don't think there's much he can do against the 3-bet.
Yeah. Okay, so we 3-bet and take it down. See, guys, he folds the aces and he raises with the 7 high. There's something more to this game than just the cards you are dealt. You're like, what? There needs to, I know which emoji to give them. That one. That's the face. That's my favorite emoji from Zanbot. It's really good. Alright, so a lot of not too much happening. Everyone's like, bust one more player so we can get some audience questions. That's the game plan. Will it happen? I don't know. Can't call with 9 high. Don't want to 3-bet